In this last part, let's discuss about the impact of Buddhism and its decline. First, ahimsa. Buddhism took the concept of ahimsa, of course, from Jainism, so it became a weapon against the ills of the society. So, as a result, animal protection became a new culture, especially during the time of Ashoka. So, great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela used it in their freedom struggle against the British. So, it had a great impact on in their lives. Second, the influence on religious life, just like Jainism, it challenged Hinduism. It led to their reformation. It made them to think about their ill practices or corrupt practices. Yajnas, sacrifices, and rigid Varna system were challenged by both Jains and Buddhists as well. Influence on social life, the third impact, it fostered intellectual tradition. The weaker sections were supported and strengthened, especially the Shudras, since Buddhism says no inequality, it proposes universal brotherhood. It had a great influence on social life. Political impact, Shakyas, Vajjis, and Mallas embraced Buddhism. Even Mauryas, especially Ashoka and Kanishka, made it their state religion. It had a great political impact. Culturally, it was spread southeast of Asia, China, Sri Lanka, and across the globe, built cultural contacts with India, acted as a vital force between the cultures, especially India and China, India and Japan, India and the Southeast Asian countries. It had a great influence on language and literature, just like Jainism. Jainism used Prakrit, it popularized Prakrit, whereas Buddhists, especially the Hinayana, so developed a local language called Pali language. Some of the important works, Tripitakas and Jatakas, are some of the important contribution of the language. In Sanskrit, there is a Mahayana Buddhist. They used Sanskrit in order to write books or develop literature. So some of them important are Mahavamsha, Deepavamsha, Divyavadana, Lalit Vistara, Saundaranand, Saundaranand, and Buddha Charita. So these are some of the works composed in Sanskrit. In terms of art and architecture, so plenty of stupas, chaityas and viharas were built across India, and it added beauty of architecture of India. So rock cut caves like Ajanta and Ellora, so these are some of the examples. It attracts tourists even today. Stupas, so the image that what you see is the Sanchi Stupa located in Bhopal. About this particular stupa image, there's a 10 marks question, and we'll be discussing about the same in the next chapter, not in this chapter. So mainly stupa is nothing but a mound like shape, contains the relics of Buddha or Buddhist saints. So there are plenty of stupas. Some of the important stupas are located in Sanchi, Bharut, and Amaravati. Chaityas, so these are the place of worship, or you can say temple of Buddhists. So it's usually rectangular in shape with plenty of columns. Monastics is a residential place of monks and nuns. So earlier, before Ashoka, they were very plain and simple, but later, once Ashoka started to give generously to the monks and nuns, it became very artistic and beautiful. The last part is the decline of Buddhism. So the split in Buddhism led to its decline, led to its fall in popularity, unity, and prestige. So later it further divided into many groups, and at present there are plenty of subdivisions among Buddhist language. Initially they used local language because that's how people understood Buddhism very well, but later Mahayana Buddhists, they went back to Sanskrit, and that caused downfall to Buddhists because common people, they found it difficult to understand Sanskrit. So once king patronized the religion, they generously donated to the sanghas, and as a result, monks and nuns lived luxurious life, and they left the simplicity simple way of living, and this caused doubt among the common people. They doubted the Sanghas, and they didn't see any difference between the Hindu Charvakas or Hindu corrupt people and Buddhist monks and nuns. So one of the important reason for the fall of Buddhism is a reform in Hinduism. During the period of Gupta, there was a revival of Hinduism. So Hinduism revived. They removed some of the corrupt practices and popularized some of the Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara and so on. They started to build temples and popularized Bhagavad Gita, and as a result, many people went back to Hinduism. Foreign invaders like Shaka, Shatavahanas, they, instead of adopting Jainism and Buddhism, they also adopted Hinduism, and that may inspire the subjects to follow the same religion, that is Hinduism. So the Turkish invasion, the Muslim invasion, gave a great blow to Buddhism, not only Buddhism, even to Jainism. So the Turkish or invaders, the foreign invaders, Muslim invaders, they plundered, looted many monasteries, and many of them fled to neighboring countries, and those who feared death, they converted to Islam. The last part, there are some similarities between Jainism and Buddhism. So let's see some of them. Founders of both the orders were Kshatriyas, Mahavira and Buddha. Both sought, or they went after attainment of moksha from the cycle of birth and death, or in other words, samsara. Both were against Vedas, and non-violence was their important doctrine or creed. Both of them practiced non-violence or ahimsa. In both, nuns and monks had to renounce the world in order to become a monk and nun. So that's where we end the chapter. In the next part, we'll discuss about civics. Thank you.